Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into an AI tool that's been making some serious waves and has got a ton of people talking. Claude AI from Anthropic. Okay, so let's just kick things off with a pretty wild claim, shall we? There's this one AI that a whole lot of experts are secretly whispering about, calling it the smartest AI in the world. They say it can write, think, and analyze better than pretty much anything else out there. So, is the hype for real? Well, let's find out. Okay, so to really get to the bottom of this, here's our game plan. First, we're going to tackle that smartest AI claim head on. Then, we'll get into Claude's three big superpowers. After that, we'll see it in action, put it right up against ChatGPT, and finally, we'll help you figure out if it's the right tool for you. All right, first things first, what even is Claude? Let's get right down to what this thing is and where it came from. So Claude is a conversational AI from a company called Anthropic, which, was actually started by some of the top researchers who left OpenAI. But here's what really makes it different. It's built on something they call constitutional AI. And what that really means in plain English is that it was designed from its very core to be helpful, honest, and this is the big one, to be super resistant to just making stuff up, hallucinating, which is a huge issue for a lot of other AIs. So really, the best way to picture Claude is as your all-in-one AI partner. It's not just a chatbot. Think of it as a personal assistant, a professional writer, a data analyst, an automation whiz, and a research partner, all rolled into one. A lot of people who use it say it just feels calmer, more human, and way more accurate in its answers. Okay, so that leads us to the big question. What really makes Claude so special? Well, its whole identity kind of boils down to three core strengths, or as we're calling them, its superpowers. Yep, just three. Everything that makes Claude, well, Claude, comes down to three powerful capabilities. Let's dig in and break them down one by one. Superpower number one is its absolutely massive context window. You can just think of this as the AI's short-term memory, and Claude's memory is huge. This means you can upload entire books, super long research papers, or really complex legal contracts. I mean, we're talking thousands and thousands of pages. And it can analyze the whole thing at once without forgetting where it started. For deep research, this is a total game changer. Next up, its second superpower is something you could call human-like intelligence. See, it's not just about spitting out the right answer. It's about how it gets there. Claude is incredible at reasoning through complicated problems, and it explains its logic step by step in this really clean way. It makes the final answer not just correct, but actually understandable. And superpower number three? Well, this goes right back to that constitutional AI thing we talked about, safety and accuracy. Anthropic built Claude to give fewer wrong answers and to just politely say no to harmful or unethical questions. This intense focus on being reliable makes it an amazing choice for business, for school, for any professional work where you just can't afford to be wrong. All right, so superpowers are cool and all, but what does this actually look like when you're using the thing? Let's check out Claude's features and see how people are using it in the real world. So when you first jump into Claude, you'll see it's super clean, really simple. You've got your main chat, obviously. You can upload all kinds of files, PDFs, spreadsheets, you name it. You can keep things tidy with projects, but then there's this really unique feature you'll want to pay attention to called the Artifacts panel. This is where some of the real magic happens, especially for creators. Okay, so what the heck are artifacts? Well, picture this. You ask Claude to whip up some code, right? Or maybe design a simple web page. Instead of it just spitting everything into the chat and making a huge mess, the actual code or the design pops up in its own separate window. This means you can see the live output on one side of the screen while you keep chatting and tweaking your request on the other. For anyone who codes or designs, this is a massive improvement to your workflow. And this chart, it tells a really clear story about how people are actually using Claude. No surprise here, a massive 35% is dedicated to analyzing long documents. That's that huge context window superpower at work. Right behind that is high-quality writing, then coding, then business automation. It just goes to show how versatile this tool is in a professional environment. All right, let's get to the main event. The question that's probably on your mind. How does Claude stack up against the 800-pound gorilla in the room, ChatGPT? Honestly, it's all about picking the right tool for the right job. Think of Claude as your specialist for writing really clean, long articles, for understanding gigantic documents, and for giving you safe, well-reasoned answers for business stuff. Now, ChatGPT is often your go-to for really heavy coding, for wild creative brainstorming, for generating images, and it's usually a bit faster and has a ton more plugins. And this is probably the most important takeaway from this whole comparison. It's not about Claude versus ChatGPT. It's not a fight to the death. A lot of smart professionals don't even choose. They use both, tapping into Claude for its deep analytical power and ChatGPT for its creative speed. They're getting the best of both worlds. Okay, so let's bring it all home. We've seen what it is, what it does, but the big question remains. Is Claude actually right for you and what you need to do? First off, let's talk money real quick. Yeah, there are pro and team plans for people who are going to be using it all day long. But honestly, the big news here is that the free version is incredibly powerful. For most people, it's more than enough to get started and do some serious work, so you can easily just try it out. So let's tie this all together. Who is Claude perfect for? Well, it's pretty clear. If your job involves digging through long documents, if you need to produce really high-quality professional writing, or if you need an AI that can handle complex business logic, Claude should be at the top of your list. If you need accuracy and a clean, reliable assistant, it's one of the smartest tools you can get your hands on today.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive into Claude AI. We've seen what it is, where its superpowers lie, and how it fits into the bigger AI landscape. So I'll just leave you with this one final thought. Looking at your own work, your own projects, could this AI be the thing that completely changes your game?